resources.
Recording in progress.
Okay, well, technically, I'm just Joe Citizen calling this meeting to order because in the past I've acted as chair, but tonight we have our reorganization. But unless Susanna, you want to take over until we have. Sure, that would be more appropriate, yes.
Okay, so this is the annual reorganization meeting of the Planning Board of the Township of Delaware. Today is January 6th, 2026. This is in-person meeting and Zoom is accessible. We'll rise for the
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this meeting has been properly noticed, called for, and the public meeting act has been satisfied. That notice is transmitted to the Times of Trenton, or others, that notice is posted in the township, Delaware Township Municipal Building, and filed with the township clerk on January 1st.
Would it be 2026?
Will be posted last.
You did?
Yeah. Next, we have the oath of office. Some members were sworn in after we were yesterday, but everybody has the oath of office on their table if you are due for one. And Steve Giselle, the board attorney, here or via Zoom, just for anybody in that we did get sworn in yesterday. I don't know.
Okay, so are all 5 people here who need to be sworn in? We have everybody?
Can you say that a little bit louder, Steve?
We have everybody who needs to be sworn in.
We're missing Belinda Ulrich.
Belinda's right here.
Oh, well, come up. You're a member. You need to sit at the table.
Okay.
He's about to be a member. All right, so you all have the oath in front of you. I'm going to ask you to all stand, and together I will swear you in. And can you all hear me?
Yes.
Sorry.
Stand up.
Good, right. And when I pause, there's 2 places where I will pause, and you will fill in first your name, and the second place I'll pause, you will fill in the office that you are going to hold, whether it's Planning Board Class 1 member or Planning Board alternate member, whatever it may be. You will say those 2 words as well. Okay, so if you would all stand and raise your right hand.
Is this me?
Yeah.
I did this last night. Oh, you did? She did last night? You probably did not. I did one too.
We did too.
Oh.
But did you do it in your capacity as planning board member?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, well then the only person who didn't, I guess. I can speak in.
That's fine.
And did you last night?
Yes.
Oh, okay, all right.
Wait a minute. Nobody needs to be sworn in?
Except for you.
One. Okay, good. Okay.
You're up.
I state your name,
James Shadarasis,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of
Planning Board Class Alternate Member 1
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my abilities,
and that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
Congratulations.
Okay, so now I will do roll call. Waltman,
Here.
McDaniel, Herman,
Here.
Loki,
Here.
Coffee,
Here.
Wright,
Here.
Cass,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Wesley,
Here,
Chair Zetsky. How do you say your name?
Shadowreese.
Shadowreese.
Sherry. And Gilbert.
Here.
And now we will take nominations for chairperson.
I'd like to nominate Miss Westlake.
I'll second it.
I'll do roll call. Waltman,
Yes.
McDaniel,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Bogey,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Cap,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Jared Detter,
Jim is fine. Yes.
and Gilbert.
Yes.
And
Okay, thank you very much, I appreciate it. I'll take over the meeting at this point as the chair. I'll entertain a vote, or nomination is what I'm trying to say, for vice chair, and I would be inclined to nominate Ms. Katz, unless anyone else has any other topics. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All righty, we'll have a roll call, please.
Waltman,
Yes.
McDaniel,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Bogey,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Chairperson Wesley,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and Gilbert.
Yes.
Okay, next item we have is appointment of board professionals. We have a slate of professionals listed on the agenda. First, we have the attorney, Steve Goodell from Parker McKay. And I can do these all at once, right,
Absolutely.
Steve? Okay. For planning board engineer, we have Rick Roseberry. Rick Roseberry. With, I believe it's Adam Wisniewski as an alternate from Colliers Engineering. For our professional planner, we have Nicholas Dickerson from Colliers Engineering. For environmental consultant, we have Kevin Jameson from Colliers Engineering. For traffic, we have Maurice Rashad from Colliers. For hydrogeologist, we have Conan, Robert Zelli, and Alexander Ross, also from Colliers. The appointment of the secretary, who has been provided to us by the township, of Zuzana Karas. And the newspapers for publication is the Star Ledger and the Times of Trenton. Is there anyone who would like to make a motion to approve the appointment of the list of professionals, the secretary, and the newspapers?
I'll move the appointment of the board professionals.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and vote please.
Waltman,
Yes.
McDaniel,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Bogey,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Wright,
Yeah.
Cap,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Chairperson Wesley,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and Gilbert.
Okay, next item on the agenda is resolutions for review and approval. We have the annual meeting schedule notice for 2026, which is resolution number PB 2026-0A. Has everybody had an opportunity to review this? Are there any corrections or questions?
I have questions, corrections, clarification. Under number 2, Susanna, look, the first paragraph under number 2 talks about the site plan, the subdivision site plan committee meeting, the second Wednesday of each month. That's at 7 o'clock, that's fine. But then the next paragraph down, it talks about the on-site inspections following that meeting. And you talk about, and bear with me, I'm still not seeing well, the fourth line down, it says the following dates, meeting at 9 o'clock at Town Hall. When you see the dates, which are in number 3, all of those dates are the second Wednesday. They're not the Sunday.
Okay.
So, which gets confusing. And then the rest of the sentence, or the ending of the sentence, it reads funny. It says after New Jersey, it has proceeding to the sites of the pending applications. So I guess I'm not quite sure how that fits in that sentence. It just reads strange. So I don't know if you want to change all number 3, and that number 3 almost is out of position because number 3 is really, should be up by the on-site inspections because those dates are referring to the on-site inspections.
No,
Okay.
no, they're referring to the second Wednesday, I thought.
No, well, they are, they're not supposed to be. See, it says following dates for the on-site inspections, and those are the following dates.
Okay, but is there a reason that we can't say on the third Sunday of each month? as
Yeah,
needed?
or the Sunday following the inspections.
No, the meeting.
I mean, the meeting, sorry, yes.
Can we do something like that?
Whatever you guys want.
I'd make it simple, rather than listing the dates, just like
Yeah.
Roz said,
Just list them.
yeah, that we
On
would,
the third Sunday
Third Sunday, okay.
of each month as needed.
yep.
Um,
And then, oh, go ahead. And then that would strike number 3 and renumber. And then number 4, where you talk about the environmental commission, then that would be to number 2. It's when the on-site, they're meeting with the on-site inspections that Sunday.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll make the corrections and then I'll send it, just to make sure that.
Okay. Okay. And that's all I have.
Does anyone else have any other comments or questions regarding the notice of the various meetings and such? Can I get a motion for, I guess, a provisional approval of these dates? And Steve, should we approve them officially next month? Or can we approve them subject to
changes.
the change?
I'm subject to the change.
Okay, so then I entertain a motion to approve the notice dates discussed, subject to the changes requested for the meetings.
So moved.
Okay, and is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, no abstentions. All right, excellent. Okay, next item, board professionals in attendance. We have noted that our board attorney is here. We have no applications per se, so we don't really need our other professionals. Next item is the meeting minutes from December 2nd. Did everybody have an opportunity to review the meeting minutes for December 2nd? And are there any comments or questions regarding those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for December 2nd.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
No, any opposition? No, and then abstentions would be Mr. Foki, Ms. Katz, Mr. Furman, Mr. Shadowizis. Hey, I can see it. And Ms. Ulrich. And Ulrich, okay. Okay, so that's done. Next item is the bill list, general non-escrow. We have three items, two invoices from Colliers. Invoice 1118182 from November 26, 2025, in the amount of $962.50. Invoice 1118181, also from November 26, 2025, in the amount of $481.25. And then an invoice to Ms. Karras.
It's for the Dropbox.
Okay, covering the Dropbox subscription, dated December 8th, 2025, in the amount of $270. Do I have a motion?
I'll move the general non-escrow bill list.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Walton?
Yes.
McDaniel? Yes. Furman?
Yes.
Bochy?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Vice Chair Pat?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Chairperson Leslie?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Okay, next we have the escrow bills, which unfortunately I do have to do independently because they're coming from separate accounts. The first is on the Murray matter for 906 Surgeonsville Road, invoice number, and they're all Colliers, sorry. 1123250 from December 5, 2025, in the amount of $87.50.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, roll call?
Walton.
Yes.
McDaniel.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Loki.
Yes.
Coffee.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chair Pat.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Chairperson Leslie.
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
And Oliver.
Okay, next item is on the Ollie matter for 415 Surgeonsville Road. Invoice 1123251 from December 5, 2025, in the amount of $177.50. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Walton.
Yes.
McDaniel.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Loki.
Yes.
Coffee.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chair Pat.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Chairperson Leslie.
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Oliver.
Okay, the last item is on the Overman matter for 27 Logtown School Road. Invoice number 1123249 from December 5th, 2025, in the amount of $691.25. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Walton.
Yes.
McDaniel.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Loki. Coffee.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chair Pat.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Chairperson Leslie.
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
And Oliver.
Okay, next item is correspondence. We have none. Next item is memorialization. We have none. Next is application. We have none. So now we're going to go to committee reports. The first is subdivision and site plan committee, review committee. And we'll indicate that the members of that meeting, or that committee from this board are me and Ms.
And Mark.
And Mark. Right. So let's add that to the agenda so that it's clear who's, yeah. And I can report that there was some correspondence back and forth with respect to the Overman property at 27 Locktown Road. We were originally scheduled to go see that in December, but it was the day of our snowstorm. So we elected not to go. There was some back and forth, and then the application itself was amended. And we determined that instead of going out, trying to struggle to find a date in the middle of the holidays, that we would simply go on the third Sunday in January, because the application itself isn't going to be presented until at least February. So that's all I have to report in that connection. Ag Advisory Committee.
Yes, indeed. We didn't meet this month yet. We plan to meet next Tuesday.
Okay. Open Space.
Open space, what did we do there? Okay, we discussed some farms that were to be or not to be included. We elected not to include them. The Goldman property closed. I think the Hilton property is, the paperwork's being done. We discussed the branding of the outreach postcard and also the Explorers Committee of collection of the documents and development of awards. And that's all I have. That's all I think I have.
So can I ask a question? Goldman and Hilti, is that our open space money or?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Goldman was Blue Acres,
Yeah.
and Hilti is Green Acres.
I thought
Is
they
it
wasn't
Hilti?
going through.
No, that's right, they didn't want to pursue
I
it.
think he'll take it through.
Yeah. They didn't like the offer.
Okay, so just Goldman.
Yeah, and that was Blue Acres.
Correct. Okay, next is the Master Plan Committee, and we need to identify who else is on that beside me. When last I looked, were you in it? Mr. Coffey, you were on the Master Plan Committee, yeah?
I was at one time, yes.
Okay, because the other person was Mr. McCumber.
Yes.
Were you? All right, well,
You want company?
I would like some company. Anyone interested in participating in the master plan committee?
I'll stay with it.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Coffey. It's not likely to be as much work this year as it was last year when we had to do 3 elements of the master plan. Notwithstanding, I would like to keep, updating and, making our master plan more, user-friendly and accessible to the public, so.
Do you need another person?
I would enjoy another person. You'll do it? Thank you. All right, is it Danny? All righty, that's all there is to report from master plan right now. Ordinance Review Committee, that consists of Katz, Coffey, and McDaniel. And, this is, gonna be the subject of discussion this evening, because you have circulated proposed revisions to the Animal Ordinance, Chapter 124. And just for members of the public, so that you are aware, we're gonna finish up our committee reports and liaison reports, and then it will be open to the public for comments. The animal ordinance, is going to be discussed amongst the board members right now, because it's not up for vote or anything, it's just discussion. But there are a lot of other committee reports that need to be completed. But I want the public to know that there will be the public comment section as soon as the reports are done. So even though we will probably conclude the discussion amongst the board members of the animal ordinance, we will come back to the public to discuss it.
At the end,
After the reports,
after all the reports.
correct.
Oh,
So there will be no discussion at all.
Not right this instant, but the rest of the reports are probably gonna be pretty short. So I just wanna get them done. The other thing I could do, I guess, is just run through the
Reports. and
other
then come-
reports.
Yeah, and then come back.
Yeah, okay, why don't we do that? All right, then we'll do the Quarry Compliance Committee, and we need a liaison to be appointed for that one, because Mr. McComber was the liaison for the Quarry Compliance Committee, and he is no longer a member. So is there anyone here who has an interest in being a liaison for the Quarry Compliance Committee?
It's a low lift. We usually only meet once a year during the day in the morning. I usually bring food. Quarry Compliance Committee.
That would be.
That would be great. Thank you.
Plus she's
Just let me know any food allergies you
Yeah, she's
have.
tempting you with food.
I
so.
do, I usually bring food.
Once you hear that, we have to say.
I am like the best committee because I bring food.
Madam Chair.
Okay, so
Thank
we'll
you
make a
so
note
much.
that Tim has been appointed as the liaison for Quarry Compliance.
Madam Chair, I would like to withdraw from the Ordinance Review Committee. I feel that I'm a little too old to be help guiding the process at this point.
Okay. Thank you for your service. Is there anyone else who would like to be on the committee? And can alternates be members of these committees?
Yes.
Yes.
So our lovely new alternates, would either of you have any interest in participating in ordinance review? That, I will not lie, is not a light one.
No. Sorry.
I'll do it.
Okay, so then we have,
Thank you, Jamie.
No, if no one else will.
we have Katz, McDaniel, and Waltman then on that committee. All right, great. Stormwater management, Mr. Miller.
Yes, we did meet, productive meeting. Sue is looking into getting more, direction from the board. And I think that was where we left.
You mean the township committee?
I'm sorry, from the township committee.
Excellent.
So that's where we left it. So I think
Okay.
there's some interest in getting some more direction and what they can do to better serve the community.
Perfect. That's great. So I'm glad you spoke up. You did. All right, zone change committee consisting of McDaniel, Waltman, and Wright. And I don't know who is the person who's the spokes.
So we're gonna wait for the budget,
Okay,
because that will require an estimate from the planner.
Right. Okay,
So could we put that on the agenda for next time, the budget? And maybe you and I can meet before that,
oh, okay, sure,
and we'll do a preliminary, and then we can bring it.
sure, perfect. All right, then we have liaison reports, Board of Adjustment, Mr. Fine.
Well, we didn't have a meeting in December, no application. There was an applicant, but they had asked to be postponed until February. And that's the deli that's down on 523. We have our reorganization meeting coming up the after tomorrow. There's no application at the same time, so we will simply do work.
Great, thank you. Environmental Commission, Ms. Katz.
We did meet, nothing too major, other than we're going to be, having in, I think it's March, a Bluebird talk. We're gonna co-sponsor with the Shade Tree Commission and have a Bluebird, speaker come in.
Oh, great, that's always interesting.
Yes.
Sorry, thank you. Next, Shade Tree Commission.
Tree City and Shade Tree report will be done by Robert and submitted in case there's any possibility of grant money. And then we discussed the need for guards at the Dilts Park on some of the trees that were planted. And our budget discussion will take place January 22nd.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, Board of Education.
We had a reorg meeting last night. John Kaparsky is our president, Sarah Burke is our VP, and I'll still be here as your liaison. And our next meeting is on the 20th.
All right, excellent, thank you. All right, so now we will go to the Ordinance Review Committee, and I will defer to the members of the committees to start the discussion. The proposed revisions to the Animal Ordinance, Chapter 124, were circulated amongst the board members. So, who's going to start the discussion? Ms. Collins?
Mr. Coffey, you want to take the?
We were tasked with coming up with an animal ordinance, which I don't seem to be able. Anyway, the Ag Committee and Ordinance Review Committee met and came up with an animal regulation. This board is probably not fully aware of. It does cover some topics that were of importance, animals, regarding animals on properties without houses, setback areas for animals. I know that parts of the ordinance regarding around avians, as it were, which covers mostly it was about chickens. The committee is made up primarily, had a large input from the farming community, and we tried to not impact any of our farming community or kept it to as little as possible. So I don't know what I can tell you about it. Kat, you want to fill in anything?
Yeah, Kathy.
Oh, let's see. I was going to say, as part of what we also did was we did look at neighboring municipalities' ordinances, Kingwood, Holland, West Amwell, let's see who else, East Amwell, we looked at, Kingwood and West Amwell, yes. We looked at those neighboring ordinances to see what they had regarding swine, pigs, avians, just animals in general, setbacks, things like that, just to get a feel for what other municipalities and how they were handling their livestock. So we did try to do some due diligence as well.
I just had a couple suggestions just from farmers that I spoke to about this particular first crack at the ordinance. And specifically in respect to the avian portion, several people had mentioned to me that they thought that the cap on the amount of birds for lots less than 2 acres, if you go to, and get a chicken coop or something, that's the smallest size, there's plenty of room for more than just up to 4 birds. They suggested that perhaps you could have almost double that number in the smallest coop that you could buy at any of these normal places that you purchase chicken coops. And then also doubling the number of birds allowed on the lot size 2 to 6 acres as well. So that was their commentary. And then I also heard something at the county, and please forgive me if I'm not correct in stating this, but apparently the county has a per animal cap, and I forget what the exact terminology that they call it, but this is for everything but birds. So it's the pigs, the cattle, the goats, but also horses. And apparently it has something to do with the total weight of the animals, so that, you know, if you have so many acres, you can only have so many pounds of animal, and all of those animals are added together to reach that cap. So that was what my understanding is, and, you know, as I mentioned, if I'm saying something incorrectly, please forgive me for all those here that know a lot better about this than I do. But,
So your understanding is that there are county regulations
Yes.
relating
to the amount of,
the weight.
yeah, right,
Okay, because I didn't come across that. What we had looked at, in addition to adjacent municipalities, we did also look at state rules that SDA have. And there's something similar.
okay,
If you wanted, that goes by, they don't group all the animals together. It goes, they
Okay.
call them animal units, and different animals weigh different amount. And depending on how many you have, it triggers different state requirements for management
Okay.
and management
So-
of animal waste.
it may be New Jersey then, and I might be speaking incorrectly as stating the county, because it was animal units. That does ring a bell.
Okay.
But my understanding is, and, you know, this is all just spoken to me, so I've never seen this, but do they not take the weight per animal and just kind of add them up, and then you
But,
have
boy,
an animal unit per
It
acre?
goes by, the way when I read the regulations, and that's why I made that little photocopier, print that out, it goes by the actual animal, and I will defer also to my colleagues on Ag Advisory if I'm misspeaking. If you want to chime in, you on Ag Advisory, it was by the type, so pigs at a certain type of pig, you know, they were by breeding pig,
This is
piglets,
related to-
yeah.
This is related to waste management.
Yes,
But it would be an animal unit, like one
Yes.
pig would be like
Correct.
1/3 of an animal
1,000
unit.
pounds.
Yeah.
Right.
Every different class of animal has a weight
Yeah.
associated with that animal, right?
Mhm.
So
Yep,
pigs are like 250, a horse is 1,000, a cow is about 1,000 or 1,200. This is all derived from the Pennsylvania, Penn State University, guidelines on that, which the state has adopted their own guidelines on manure management, limits on how many animal units per acre you can have, depending. It all goes back to the state rules on animal waste management,
Right.
essentially.
Yeah, well, that was my biggest question, is definitely that's a big concern, I would assume, is the waste management and its impact on the,
Correct,
The
and if
land.
the state animal units are less, you can self-certify a
Yeah.
plan with the state. If it's any more than that, you can contact, you know, your local NRCS or other state agency, federal or state, and help you write a plan and everything, so you know where the manure is going and all that. But there are confinement situations for agriculture that there is really no limit. It's based on best management practices that are guidelines by the state. And every case is different. We do not have as strict rules that Pennsylvania has for nutrient management yet. So I say that because I've actually been able to comment.
Many of the,
So this
Go
says
ahead.
what,
all right, a lot of the chicken things I did the research on, and I went to states that have, we're not a big chicken producer anymore. I mean, the egg auction closed many years ago, but there are recommendations on use. You can always do more if you wish, but that was their recommendation. And I talked to people in Ohio, Iowa, and Delaware. And that's where the recommendations came from, and that's all they are. There's recommendations, yes. You can always cram more animals in, and you can justify the need to do that, but you have to start somewhere. If you feel that you want to do higher, that's fine. My father was a chicken raiser. I know how many chickens we had we had 25 chickens on less than a quarter acre. Yes, it can be done. Is it good? I don't know. At the time it was. We start with recommendations, and the community and the rest of the farming community has their chance to say yes or no. I mean, this is a draft ordinance. Did we get it right the first time? Probably not, but we got to start somewhere because there seems to be a problem with animal husbandry at the present time.
Yeah, that's my question, Mr. Coffey, is really what problem are we trying to solve? I think that would help me understand. When I read this, I'm not big on passing regulations unless there's a real need for the community. So what problem are we trying to solve with limiting someone like myself to just having 4 chickens in a coop, on 1.75 acres?
Well, I think the problem where there's been some to avoid spot zoning, there's been some concern by many citizens about the operation of animals being left alone since and not being properly cared for. And then there's been some complaint about animals escaping their confinement area. And then there's people who have come to the Ag Board, Ag Committee, and complained about different operations. We're not trying to solve a problem so much as to prevent problems from occurring. So with this in mind, we have to look at all the properties and all the farms in Delaware Township that we can and see what we can do to make them better. Are we targeting any one person? No, we're trying to solve a myriad of problems that as our new farming population comes in, they may not be as astute as some of our older farming people who have been here for a while and have farmed their family's been here for 200 years, they've been farming for 200 years, they have a different perspective, and when a newer farmer comes in, they not have that perspective. And we never had this many rules, but as the times change, we must change with them. We find that there's more smaller farms than there has been in the past, more people getting into their farming of different things. When I first moved here, they were all big, pretty much they were big dairy and big grain. Then comes smaller operations. People who grew herbs, they grew tomatoes, specialized different things, specialized animals for different markets. So times have changed, and I think that we have to look at what we're doing because the farming community is changing as well. Big grain is still here, big animals, not so much. But, there's very few 150 head dairy operations in this town. Actually, there's probably none. But we were big dairy and big grain, and things are changing.
Thanks a lot, Larry.
Well, you're not quite 150 head, are you?
Not yet.
I hope you do. That way it keeps the snow plow from having to go wherever you are, because you'll plow for the milk truck to get through. Just like Mr. Cooper used to do.
So, other board members, comments, questions?
I just wanted to mention, I didn't mean to offend you by suggesting any changes here, because obviously I understand that trying to make a first cut of an ordinance is very difficult to do, and you have to start somewhere. But I just wanted to relay some of the various feedback that
And that's what you should do, because, as I say, the farming community is changing. And, if there are recommendations, there was a guy in Pennsylvania, he thought people shouldn't have chickens on less than 5 acres because chickens, you generally get a rooster, and not everybody's appreciative of roosters.
Yes, so thank you.
Anyone else? Any comments from the board?
I'd be interested in hearing what the farmers think about it.
Yeah, no, I'll get to that. I just want to make sure that everyone on the board has had a comment. Anything?
So my question is, right now, are we looking to make a motion on the ordinance as it is now, or are we just having a discussion? Okay.
No, we're just having a discussion.
Okay.
I think, like Larry said, this is a first cut. We've been tasked with updating our existing animal ordinance, and to be in keeping with the times.
So I appreciate everything Larry just said, because I agree. I mean, you could have a responsible person with 10 chickens on 2 acres, or an irresponsible animal owner on 20 acres, and I almost wonder if we should also look at more, and there might be something in it, I just haven't seen the ordinance draft, but as far as policing that part of it, because somebody could have 4 chickens, is that what it, yeah. Could have 4, they could have 6, who's gonna manage that, but it's when they get out, whether it's sheep or anything else, it's when they escape that we need to probably police it more than how many they actually have.
Right, or the animal control, animal abuse issues.
Right.
All of that.
Yeah.
And apropos of that, one of the things in the draft ordinance did start talking about how to address enforcement through violations and penalties and such. And my thought was the verbal warning with the 60-day time frame. I was curious where the 60-day came from. Was that just
That actually came out of Ag Advisory from their December meeting.
Okay.
So I wasn't at that meeting, so I will
No.
defer Larry.
No, it's just, I was curious what the source of that was. So, all right.
I had an additional question to that point. And I'm sorry if I missed that particular aspect of the ordinance, but who did the ordinance committee suggest be the enforcement officer?
We didn't.
Okay.
Not sure who would be issuing the warnings, but written and formal with a question mark.
The weed ordinance was never, it's really technically not part of land use. And many ordinances I've been involved with, we have never been tasked with the enforcement side of it, since we don't have the power to do that anyway.
But maybe guidance to the township committee when it ultimately gets to a point of being adopted. If the township committee then says, oh, well, there's a suggestion here that this be the enforcement mechanism, I think that could be helpful. Because, my first thought is some of this goes also to the animal control. And, the animal control officer might be tasked with issuing violations or whatnot.
Well, I
Or the
don't
health
know,
department.
what's our contract with the animal control?
We
I
have
don't
to
know.
review that. 'Cause I
Yeah,
don't know
if they have that ability,
Right.
yeah.
Or
They
health
take on
department,
I was gonna say, the way the current ordinance, as Roz was saying, or Larry was saying, the animal ordinance that we currently have, the chapter, was it 124, 128, 124 that I wrote here, this is outside of the land use ordinance, and there's 2 sections in it. The first that is currently Article 1 is the keeping of the swine. There is no mention of any enforcement in that article.
Okay.
It just states the number of swine that are allowed. The second article that's in is the dogs and cats section. And if I remember correctly, that's in a lot of detail that talks about the licensing, how many dogs you can have. And I believe that has the Board of Health, but don't quote me on it. But that does have an enforcement section. So we were looking, the new article for general, or I put on the back, is to have a revised violation section that speaks, and that's what the ag advisory had recommended, that has those items.
So apropos that, Steve, is this something that should be a combined effort with the township attorney? I mean, if this is
Not
sort of
land use.
theoretically
Yeah.
not land use, the land use attorney, the board attorney,
Sure, you know, I can,
you're smart enough to do it, that's not the issue. The issue is jurisdictionally.
there's a couple things. One is that if it's really a health issue, that would be the Board of Health, and that generally is the Township Committee, and unless the Board of Health has a separate attorney, and I don't think it does, it would be the Township Attorney. On the other hand, there is a provision that the Township, the Planning Board has jurisdiction to act in areas where they've been specifically designated by the Township Committee. So if the Township Committee has asked you to do it, then maybe that would be something that you would take on because you've got certain skills in the area. I can certainly talk with Joe and work out who should review it. Clearly, I think at this point, if you've got a draft, it needs to go to a lawyer to make sure that at least you're on the right path. And then, you know, then you can fine tune it after that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're at a draft point yet, but it does sound like it might be a collaborative review. Because evidently the planning board has been tasked to do this and we refuse to accept it, so. Anyone else have anything to say before I open this to the public? Okay, Steve, this is just a discussion. Do I have to swear people in? No? You're on mute.
There we go. No, this is a discussion, just like public comment at a Township Committee meeting.
Okay, cool, excellent. All right, so I'm gonna open it to the public for comments and questions. So how about it, folks? Somebody raise their hand and go ahead.
I'm Valerie Tucci. I live on Sandy Ridge Road, and in many ways, I'm probably one of the persons who brought this to their attention. So I'd like to explain. My property is adjacent in the rear to the property that the police department says is subjected to the most complaints and comments. And that is the property with the horse that lives in the little telephone booth and has been locked in the booth, has wandered across the road, as have the cows and the other animals. I mean, that was one of the first things when the police chief came to the township meeting, he talked about and said that that's where all his complaints come from. And as an animal lover, I have brought it to people's attention. Basically, we have 2 lots there of 6 acres each. And they have liens on them for taxes. The humans who purchased the property do not live there. They have brought a trailer at times, which the public health group has removed. The Hunterdon County group asked them to remove that. And one of the first things they did bring with them were pigs, which were the closest to the end of their property and closest to mine. So reading this, it's really interesting, and thank you all people for your work on this. I would just like to see these animals being taken care of. And, you know, there's been lots of comments. The people across 523 have managed to bring cows home. There have been animals who've died, who've had broken legs. I mean, there's all sorts of things. You can talk to the big veterinarian to get details, and I'm sure everybody knows about them. But thank you, everybody who worked on this. And let me just talk about the pigs. I don't know if they're still there. These people have been there. I should have looked it up at maybe 5 years now. They're living in Yardley. Whether they have any plans? I sort of doubt it since the property's been up for tax liens for at least 3 years that I know of. And there were quite a number of pigs there. Maybe the police know if they're back there. I'm not going to look. I put up a 6-foot fence to give me the privacy. And certainly I've heard my neighbors, including the neighbors who sold them the property, said they could smell the pigs. But all I want to do is thank people and ask that there are provisions made for these animals. The police say they do what they can. You know, we really get not much satisfaction. It's quieted down, but they are building more cages there. And so when I go to the keeping of pigs, I would like to see something about, there's nothing in that first article that says there should be a residence on the property. And there is not a residence, and I don't know, you know, do you ask people if they're planning a residence or what?
We have that under number 3 for a new article. It's not just for pigs.
Okay,
It's for
so that
all
would cover
livestock.
that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Where you have to have, we're making the recommendation, have to have a physical residence in the township in order to have property with cattle, goats, pigs, and avian/birds.
and the other thing, I didn't know if you could detail, you know, some minimum regulations for food and water. I know Jamie has said people that check, and supposedly they get water from the people next door, and there are hoses that go over the property. Well, you know, I take my hoses down in the winter, and I guess this is all winterized, I guess. And I hear from my neighbors, gee, there's not even a stitch of hay around. There are right now the horse and the donkeys there, and I guess the donkeys have reproduced also. And I'm just looking for somebody to inspect that and make sure that everything is taken care of. And so thank you for the work you've done, and if I can help in any way, except I'm not crawling over there, let me know.
Thank you, thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, my name's Matt Mary. I have a farm on Bound Station Road. There are a few things that I highly disagree about, especially with the chickens. You know, limiting, especially farm access properties and bigger properties, how many chicken count there is. I mean, for one, you go in the Tractor Supply, it has to buy 6 chickens to even purchase chickens there. So that's an issue. I mean, our community is about open space and bringing more people in, and, you know, Mr. Coffey, directed to new farmers coming in, but we want other farmers to come in, obviously. I mean, there's gonna be land being sold, there's generations that are leaving, we need new generations to come in. I mean, obviously, there's USDA regulations set in place for a reason, so we really shouldn't be willing to say, if somebody big comes in and buys property and wants to limit them to what they're doing, especially with animal heads per acre, chicken confinement, me, myself, I raise meat birds and sell them in the community and other places. I mean, I have 50 acres. I perceive that every year, the chickens I have on my property. Because I'll raise batches of 300 and I'll have 3 batches at one time. So right there, that blows me right out. And with the other thing is needing a residence property. What if somebody comes in, buys a farm here, but lives somewhere else and can't live on the property, but has the proper stuff to take care of their animals, and they're a good farmer or a good person? I mean, there's no reason why we should hold back somebody from coming into our community because they can't live here. I mean, yes, absolutely, there is problem people. I do agree with that we should have some kind of say over what people do, but you can't also tell everybody what to do when they buy their land, they pay their taxes. I mean, I do agree with cleanliness of farms. I mean, there's other farmers obviously in the room, you have to take care of your animals and make sure they're right. You know, I run my cattle in the winter as a feedlot type of situation. In the summer, they graze, so like, that's confinement areas, where there would be limited to space. Also, when it comes to like other people owning chickens, like some people have families that might feed 10 or 15 people off their eggs, right? On a small piece of property. So how is that fair to them, especially with the recent egg crisis? You know, people might spend money to buy chickens, and who's gonna say, hey, now you can't have them? And the pig thing has been an ordinance forever besides the 200 feet. I mean, that goes like a long, long time back, before my time, obviously. I do agree, like, if it's a non-resident situation, like, we definitely should make sure they have access to water, especially water. I mean, there should be some kind of guarantee of well situation on the property.
No well.
I understand the property you're talking about, but you can't dictate to everybody that comes in that wants to do something. We have 1 or 2 bad eggs. We all know about them. So maybe, you know, Christian's a good one to ask about this. Like, is there, you know, I know there's programs out there to help people get water and well and stuff like that. I don't know that particular property is even formally assessed.
It's from that hayfield part of it, and they still get a lot of hayfield.
So, I mean, so that might come down to they're not even covered under the Right to Farm Act in the state, correct? Like,
That's a question.
so,
Hired an attorney. To be successful with my attorneys.
I mean, that's really what I have right this second to talk about. Like, it's just, I feel like many of these things aren't fair to incoming people that have already been here. That's all, but I just look forward to seeing another draft of this, hopefully. And, you know, I wasn't even aware of it, like, not too long ago, so I came tonight to do it. I would hope we would see something more in the future that's more realistic to our area.
And can you just spell your last name for the minute?
Marion, M-A-R-I-O-N.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes,
I was just gonna say, just in regards to
can
those
you just
things-
identify yourself?
Yes, my name is Catherine O'Driscoll.
Okay.
Yeah, O-D-R-I-S-C-O-M-O. Maybe there could be something that, like, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name, but, for this neighbor here that is having a problem, I know that there's, like, different areas of, like, the USDA that you can contact. It seems like local police maybe have their hands tied, maybe, you know, it doesn't sound like it was getting anywhere. Maybe we could, since it seems like it's such a small area of people that are being affected versus, you know, affecting our farmers that have been here for generations and such, maybe we can give better resources to contact when there is a problem.
Well, we have gone to public health and to the Hunterdon County facility, so we've done a lot of things with not gotten very far.
I think it's not you're not going to the right places though. Like the Department of Agriculture, if they come in, that's.
Yes, we talked to them.
Okay, I know in Kingwood they're helpful, that's why I just couldn't get
Yeah,
them in place.
it's just, you know, they get through the farm a little, and there's no well, there's no electricity. It's all, you know, they have to get it from somebody else. And I totally support farming and that whole, believe me, I do. Maybe what we need, if we don't have a residence, at least have a well, electricity, paying the taxes. I mean, that's not good if you're not gonna pay the taxes. You know, so you can mention that, and I thought, oh, they haven't paid me for 4 years. So maybe those are some of the things, I don't know how you get away with, you know, how you get around it. The police have done everything they could, and I understand that that's not their job. And certainly whatever the animal control people. I don't have a solution. It really has nothing to do with the big farm. Absolutely not.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Christian Bench, Chair of the Ag Committee. I just wanted to kind of speak on behalf of the Ag Committee and the subcommittee that I put together, for the situation. You know, I believe we were tasked with, it's not kind of a difficult situation, right? Because there's two bad players and, you know, we do not want to affect the rest of the farming community, right? And I have complete confidence in the team that came up with this. Where I'm seeing, and I think you guys agree, is like, time to go back to the drawing board a little bit, especially on the avian section of it. Be a little bit more definitive, you know, less harsh on the 2 to 6 acres and 2 acres or less, and just come up with something reasonable, right? That's in line with some of the state rules and some of the other rules in place. I think that's not a heavy lift for us to go back and re-examine that. But I think, you know, you've got to kind of put, you know, all the farmers and stuff, got to put yourselves in our shoes where, you know, we can't make everybody happy, right? And like I said, we were under pressure by several very vocal neighbors that had a lot of complaints. So I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of background there. Had many discussions with Jamie and whatnot about a year ago, at least now. And again, I formed a subcommittee that are experts that are here in the room today. And I felt like we reached some kind of a goal. It's not perfect, so let's go back to the drawing board on the avian pollution and come up with something good. All right?
Yeah, and I just have one comment, is that whole property area, that whole area from my property down, was all farmed by Granville and Sarah Tilts when I moved here 55 years ago. So it's a shame to see this happen.
Yeah. Just say your name so that Suzanne can write it down, Rick.
My name's Rick Denby.
Can you spell your last name, sorry?
What's that?
Can you spell your last name?
I can. DENBIGH. All right, so Christian pretty much stole a lot of my thunder.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I knew you were going to do that. So we're on the Ag Advisory for Preservation. And we had a meeting and we got bombarded with a lot of public concerns with animals in the township and blah, blah, blah. And we fielded a lot of questions that night. And our ultimate answer was, it's not our property. That's not what we're here for. But we pursued it a little bit more and investigated and came up with an idea of, hey, maybe we should look into this a little bit. And that's where we went with that. I think some of the things in there, I thought we had in there for a well. And we have the provision in there. Maybe it's not listed here, but we do have listed in there, I think, for a well on the property as a minimum standard. I think that was addressed there. Yeah, right. I don't disagree with the chicken stuff, but again, we had to start somewhere. We had to get some numbers there. We had to put something out to get the ball rolling. The problem I bring up with a lot of farming is there's no farming handbook. Okay, there's no right. Matt doesn't farm like I do. You know, Christian doesn't farm like I do. You don't build fence like I do. There's no standard. Okay, so everybody's application is going to be a little bit different. But there just has to be a happy medium in there as far as amounts and, you know, jurisdiction over that stuff. The other thing is, you know if you're doing right or if you're not doing right. And public appearance in this area especially is the top thing, I think. So I think that needs to be controlled a little bit just as far as street appearance, you know, curb appeal, I guess it is. If there's no complaints and there's no problems, so be it. There's not going to be an issue. But if you get continuous complaints, then I think somebody has to look at it, and then you have to have some sort of guidelines just to go off of it, so you can make some sort of enforcement on that stuff. I don't think there's plenty of room for adjustment on this. It's just a starting point. That's what I have to say.
I think I speak for the board when I say thanks to the Ag Advisory for the input, because we're clueless.
And we're not experts. We're not farmers. We're not experts.
Well, no, but you know more than we do about farming.
Right.
So it's very helpful to get input from farmers. Yeah.
I just want to mention that once you come up with an ordinance, if it doesn't fit everybody, there's always the opportunity to come for a variance. I'm not begging for people to come before, just.
For a tent chicken.
He's soliciting.
One is not gonna fit all. And you're right, there's gonna be some people that are gonna wanna do more on a piece of property. Then if they can justify it and come to the board and present the information, you know, that'd be fine.
At the same time, I don't think we want to burden the farming community with the expense related to doing that. So I think that we're just gonna try our best to find the finest balance between the two opposing interests.
Yeah, my question on this is there anything to enforce in your situation, I was just using that one specific situation, is this an enforcement issue or is this we need to put more rules and regulations issue? Is there an opportunity to have somebody check on these animals and do wellness checks and things like that? Because that's the biggest concern for me, not the visibility of pigs from your backyard, but if somebody's eligible to farm, but the quality and care of the animals. My fear is, Matt, I love what you said. We're not trying to turn this into a boutique.
No.
We want this to stay and remain a farming town. And if that means somebody wants to have their kid raise 10 chickens in their backyard, and then that's what we want to be able to do. So I wonder if this is more of an enforcement issue, not just throw more rules on the book, and is there anything that we can do to look into more enforcement?
Well,
I think part of the issue.
I think if there was enforcement, because the police will come and other people have come, like the Hunterdon County people and that. But that happens occasionally. And,
Well, I think the other issue is if there's nothing to
It's saying we do need something to enforce.
That's right, if there's
So-
no standard guideline to enforce, then
you can't enforce.
Is
you can't
there?
give a guy a speeding ticket if there's no speeding.
No, I
Let's be
totally
honest.
understand that.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, if there's no enforcement, and does that mean that animals are being taken care of to the minimum standard of what the county and
The state.
and the state would deem appropriate?
Mhm.
And if that's a situation, well, then is this a nuisance issue or is this a quality of taking care of animals issue? Because that's where my biggest
It
thing.
kind of goes hand in hand at some point there, I think.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, it could overlap, yes.
Yeah, I think we're struggling to identify what rules should be in place to allow for enforcement to protect against, the abusive situations that we've seen.
And again, you only
And
have
so
two.
far,
You only have one or two instances.
right,
You
but
have-
so far it seems as though
They stand out.
the tools that we
That's
have
the
are
problem.
not effective so far. So
And
the question is
just with the chickens.
whether we need to identify more tools or not.
Did you have the March down on the committee?
What's that?
The March.
Yeah.
He was there, because he knows about the animals.
Anyone else? I see Jess and Roger, and I can't read the last one. Aida? I seriously cannot read that. Alex. Oh, Alex Bacon.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Any of you, any comments, or you just here listening? Any other comments on this particular issue? If not, I welcome comments on any other issues that the public has. Yes?
I do. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Heidi Kovacs. It's my husband Rick. We own the farm store right across the street. And we're looking for a little bit of guidance. So we are hopefully planning on moving the farm store. We'd like to get it back to our farm property, which is just a mile down the road. It borders 523, right near the police station. That is preserved farmland. So what we did was we hired an engineer to work up a site plan for us that would follow all the regulations of building on preserved farmland, for example, like under an acre of disturbance, under a certain amount of square footage for impervious, disturbance. So trying to follow all that, making sure there's no environmental issues. Long and the short, we got the site plan. We did present it to the zoning office. They did approve the site plan. However,
they, said that we would need to put in an application for site plan approval with the planning board.
The zoning officer said.
The zoning officer
Yeah.
said that that would be the next step, so where we're at, before we fill out the application, you know, bring all the money of the things, for that, what more would you like to see from us besides like the engineered site plan, like I'm talking, you know, like we have the buildings designed, we have the, where potentially the septic would need to go, driveway dimensions, everything is following all the specs required, you know, by the town, zoning, et cetera. So for us, if we wanted to, when we want to present this to you, aside from what we have, is there anything else in addition to that that you feel would be pertinent to that application?
If they followed all the rules, we wouldn't have a lot to say anyway. I mean, if you went to the zoning officer and you met all the obligations.
And it's just site plan review, the only thing that the planning board can do is give you some conditions.
Okay. I mean, obviously, you know, pending any type of, you know, inspection, permits, you know, everything, you know, according to what is required that's how the project would go. So I didn't know if there was something, you know, in addition to what we have here that you would want to see.
We don't have a whole lot of.
Yeah, the land use ordinance
Right, to
does
do much.
spell out what's required for the application. So I don't know if you actually looked at the ordinance. I did, The site I plan.
got
the secretary of zoning sent me the whole. Okay. Yeah, that's basically what you submit with the application.
Okay. And, and assuming there are no variances or anything like that,
No, we met the setbacks as far as what we
right.
have there.
So the only thing would be, you know, once the township, the board engineer and the board planner have an opportunity to look at that, and they may have some suggestions or recommendations that environmental commission may want to comment. But assuming you meet everything, then it really comes down to, reviewing it for compliance, and then if there are any possible, conditions suggested by the professionals.
Okay.
Is this gonna be on the county road?
Yeah, that's.
Have you gone to the county at all?
First, we wanted to start with the planning board to make sure that, yes, it's okay. Then we would move forward with, you know, perks and septic design and the driveway permit, getting the permit to come off the road with the county. But before we did any of that, we wanted to make sure that it's
Because the
okay.
county's gonna need,
Yeah, the county's-
you know, site angles and all that kind of stuff.
For a new curb cut, yeah.
Yeah, so I think our first step was we would want approval, you know, from the planning board. Then we would go right for the driveway, permit. That would be second. You'll make sure we can even get off the road. And then after that, then it's just a party, I guess, right? Do all the other stuff. So that's kind of, that was what we thought was the right, like the steps to go.
Heidi, you may want to have a conversation with the county engineer ahead of time, just to make sure they're open to having a new road cut off of 523, because if they're gonna say no go, then,
You have wasted all your
yeah,
time.
then you've spent all that
Okay, so you
money.
think that's probably a better
At least
next
have a
step?
conversation, yeah, just
Okay.
kinda,
Because it's a new engineer too,
Yeah.
so.
Is there? New engineer?
New county engineer.
Huh?
There's a new road for the Erico development, then the one for two of the three developments you discussed last time, on 523 too. It's a lot of roads.
That's assuming they've applied to the county for permits and curb cuts. Whoever gets there first is the.
We're heading there now.
Did you have anything to add?
No, I
We're just
but-
looking for procedures and
Yeah,
trying to
she makes
comply
it
with
very
everything and, you know.
trying to save you some money,
Yeah,
What's that?
Yeah, right?
save you some money.
yeah, because
Yeah.
that curb cut is invaluable given the existing access, which is, is tough for you guys, I know.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments? Seeing no other comments from the public, I am going to close the public portion of our meeting and move on to the board and give the board an opportunity for comments and questions. Mr. Vokey, any comments or questions?
No, you guys did a great job.
All right, cool. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Miller.
No, I'm good.
Thank you very much. Mr. Knight, nothing, you're always so circumspect. Ms. Katz?
I just want to welcome the new members. Great to have new faces here. And Tim, thank you for volunteering.
It's your cookies.
Yeah.
They better.
Better live up to my
Yeah.
reputation.
Okay, Mr. Walton, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, Jamie, please. I just want to thank the new members for coming and participating and volunteering your time. And then also I just wanted to mention, thank you for the first draft of the ordinance. You know, as mentioned numerous times, there's a fine balance between our farming community and the standards of the animals that are kept by others. And obviously we want to take care of the animals, but not hamper your ability to continue doing what you're supposed to be doing here in Delaware Township. So hopefully collectively we'll be able to come up with something that works for everyone and does what it's intended to do. So thank you.
Mr. Hunt?
No comments.
Mr. Shutterese?
Nope.
Mr. Coffey?
Welcome the new members. Always good to have new blood. As things change, we need the new inputs on how it's going to change.
Mr. Daniel? Ms. Albert? Well, I would like to echo the thoughts of my fellow board members. Welcome, everybody. And also thank you to the public. I really appreciate when the public comes out and makes an effort, because it's hard work what we do. And it's very frustrating when we do something and then nobody participates and then they come and complain. So it's really nice to have people actually bother to participate, because we do take it very seriously. So.
I just have one question.
Yes.
Because I was on the township website last night, and I more and more been reading and looking at things just because, my family's been here a long time in the community, and me and my wife just purchased the family farm for my brothers. So I was just curious, especially this ordinance draft, right? How does the general public find out about that before the meetings? Because I couldn't find anything online about it. I just happened to hear from Roberti, about it today, so I was able to make it here. I'm just curious, obviously there's other people, I'm sure, in the community that have backyard chickens that would probably want to voice their opinion. But besides, it being notified like that, where do you actually see this prior to the meeting?
We all got this today ourselves.
Right.
Because it's just for discussion. It's not up for actual review and approval. And to the extent we know to put something on the agenda, we do. But we have to rely on the public to check the agenda.
Right.
And I appreciate it wasn't on the agenda specifically today, but it will certainly be on next month's agenda as part of our discussion.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, because just your comments, you appreciate us being here.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have known at all about it if somebody.
Right, no, but we do a lot of things, and we
Well,
always.
the ordinances too, the planning board doesn't have the authority to approve any or adopt any ordinances.
Yeah.
That's done at the township committee level. And they always have a first reading and a second reading of ordinances. And those are on the agenda, that are publicized. And the first reading, you can get a copy from the town clerk to see what the ordinance, the draft ordinance is. And then they have the public hearing at the second reading, and that's where you can go and have comments about the ordinance.
And let me just add to, the name up there, Jess Stahl, she is going to take the Zoom video and audio from this meeting, and she has from previous meetings, both planning and the township committee, and post them on Facebook for everybody to see. There is a committee in the township that is trying to get the township to do this for us, but there's been some problems and discussions. But we are posting those on Facebook, so you can go there and see the recording.
And those would all be after the fact. So to your point, and to the chairwoman's point, is that the committees need to do a good job of trying to get stuff publicized before, so you can be here before. Because posting anything after is kind of pointless, because you wouldn't have been able to participate in the conversation. So I'm glad you asked the question that you asked.
And the agendas are posted on the website.
Right, in my case, like many people that sit here, including Rick yourself, I work a full-time job in the welding industry, and we farm. So it's not like I can sit and look at the computer every night.
Right.
We all have full-time jobs too.
No, I understand that, that's what I said, many of us here, we all have full-time
No, I hear you.
But you're on that side of the table, and we're on this side of the table, so if somebody emails you, that's obviously, right?
Right.
And we don't.
Right,
So
no,
that's
I
my
understand.
concern.
And like I said, we do our best to notify, post and whatnot, but also we got this today.
Right, no, I understand. I just want, we could, get the website to have, a new link that's, up and coming stuff, where somebody can just go into it.
Well, that would be the agenda.
I would have to go to, the planning board meetings to see what's there.
No, you can go online for the agenda.
Board of Adjustment.
Right, but it's just not in one location, is it? Each committee has an agenda under queue, right?
Yeah,
So you would go.
under meeting document.
Under
Instead of
meeting.
just, saying, I have to go, say if I want to, say, the council committee has something new coming across that would be really open to the public, it would be very easy to put a link on the website and say, hey, this is the new stuff that's coming this month.
So if I were a resident of the town, I would check this agenda and I would check the township committee agenda. And we meet once a month, the township committee. So, and how far in advance of the meetings, the agenda posted, I think, 5 days in advance?
Okay.
No.
The agenda is finalized 3 to 4 days before.
Okay.
Yeah, and it'll be up there.
That's Melanie.
And we
Melanie
meet-
knows better than us, so we'll defer.
We meet the second Tuesday of each month, so you'll just want to go ahead and review those on a monthly basis and see if there's something of interest to you or something that you want to make a comment on, and please attend the meeting and voice your opinion. So I wish there was a better way to do it.
No, that's fine, I was just, I'm just new to, trying to search it and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's all good, and, but I think that there are sections for this is where you can find all the agendas and stuff like that, so may just need a little more surfing through the site itself. It's taken me a little while to learn it too. Believe me, I'm constantly looking, where is the plan, where is my master plan, so I get it, but thank you so much for your, comments, they are appreciated, so.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes, you may.
Actually, Steve, Mr. Goodell, just wanted to see, we had passed back in November, the, accessory building ordinance changes too. I just wanted to see if you got that, if you had any questions.
We've got a draft that I could get you. The draft was done by an associate. I just need to review it before I pass it on. So you can have it as early as day after tomorrow, if that's what you want.
No, I just was asking, I knew
No,
Mr.
and that's,
Thank you.
Well, people wanted
Thank
to
you.
know. I got you back.
no, that's good.
Forgot about that.
That'll be on the agenda next, Susanna, that'll be on the agenda for review next month, so.
Thank you,
Alright.
Steve.
Sure.
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. All right, I am going to close the board member comments and questions section. Our next meeting is scheduled for February 3rd, 2026. And so I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, is there a second? Thank you, Mr. Wright. All righty, thank you everyone too.
Tim, can I get your contact information?